It was nearing the end of a long day of business planning, and I'm not sure if it was the windowless hotel room or what, but the conversation sort of started to turn from what I thought was healthy conflict in the beginning of the day to something that was starting to feel a little bit more contentious. And as tempers started to rise, the CEO decided to turn all that frustration towards me and said, you know what the problem with forecasts are? Is they never tell me what to do. Well, obviously taken aback and plotting what my response would be, I simply said, you're right. A forecast doesn't tell you what to do. It simply tells you what the landscape might look like going forward. It's up to you to decide what to do about it. And as we think about our Q2 forecast, I think that imagery is a good one to keep in mind, that the landscape is shifting. I mean, we're moving from this period over the last 5 years of almost 40% growth. I mean, it's been a strong market for the last several years. To now, we're looking at more something around 4% year over year through 2029. So we're moving from this sort of reacting period to now maybe more reorienting as we settle into this more stable period, if you will. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't opportunities for growth. You just have to know where to look for it. I mean, growth isn't everywhere, but it is there. So it just is a matter of sort of compare and contrast. So think about it this way. This year, multifamily construction spending will be down 12% compared to the prior year. With vacancy and financing cooling, it's just not a great market for it. But compare that to lodging and office that will both be growing around 6% compounded annually between now and 2029, and even power at 5%, there's still that growth. But for the leaders in our industry, they sort of recognize this and can see the sort of the nuances within it. So even within office, for example, that's made up of both data centers and what we think of as traditional office. And like I said, it's growing at about 6% year over year between now and 2029. Yet most of that growth is going to be in data centers and not cubicles. In fact, data centers is growing almost 13% compounded annually over the next 5 years. But what do people think about the forecast? Because I think that's an important aspect too. So I think a good way to evaluate that is through our non-residential construction index, or NRCI. Now, the current NRCI for Q2 is at 43.5. Now that's important for two reasons. First, it's below the 50 mark, which suggests that people think that the market is contracting. But the other important piece of that is it also gives us a glimpse into how are competitors likely to respond. If they think the market's in contraction, you can guess they'll probably be more aggressive with pricing. They'll probably pause some initiatives and maybe do some things that seem sort of out of the ordinary. But for the savvy, is this an opportunity to pursue with purpose, while maybe others hesitate? Now there's a whole lot more to unpack here, whether it's additional segment nuances, funding and financing trends, and even competitive threats. And so I recommend that you download the full report. We'll give you a lot more detail at our website. Better yet, speak with one of our bankers or one of our consultants about your specific issues, about how you are going to respond to this changing landscape over the next 5 years. And keep in mind that mindset of a forecast gives you the facts, but your strategy determines your future.